212 Trip Digital Radio, Sound Art and Expressions. I'm your host with the most, DJ Journey. Usually we would start off with a rap with that, but I just wanted to play the instrumental coming in. But I hope you guys are good. I hope all is well during these crazy times. It's been a rough couple weeks, man, with everything. Been a rough couple weeks with everything, but I believe that hope and change is happening through all of this. And shout out to everybody that was on the front lines. Shout out to everybody that's in the blogs. Shout out to all the people that are making an effort towards this large change that we're working on, not only for America, but for the world itself. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved, and shout out to the people that wasn't involved and that was on the back end that didn't know what else to do but pray, because prayers help as well. I think everybody is playing a huge part in the change for global equality. You know, I think a lot of our brothers and sisters that are across the pond, they felt this as well. So shout out to everybody that's doing their thing on the front lines and on the back lines. So without further ado, I wanted to go into the show. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're doing here and on Trip Digital, and also with our parent station now. I'm broadcasting live from Spectrum City, Spectrum City Network. I was going to say Spectrum City B-Side Radio, but Spectrum City B-Side Radio. Let me talk about that for a little bit. The origin of all of this started with Keith Shockley and his brother Flavor Flav, Chuck D, and everything like that. They had a crew of DJs in Long Island called Spectrum. So everybody on Long Island knew this. Everybody from Manhattan to Long Island, they knew about the Spectrum because they had ill systems. And what I mean by systems, they were sound systems that these guys would build from scratch, and they would go around playing music and DJing parties and everything like that. And they really, really made an impact. And also from their radio show that they did at the youth center, kind of made an impact to go into their next stage, which was Public Enemy. Started off with a song, Rick Rubin heard it, the name of the group hence became Public Enemy, but it started with the core and the soil of Spectrum City, which we're now continuing that lineage. And I think excuse me, I think that's a big part of what's going on. You know, a lot of torches are not being passed. There's so many agendas, but the one agenda is only the lead of life. And I think those agendas, those old agendas, have changed. And you know, now you're seeing, you know, kids come out, but I think it all starts with passing the torch. You got to pass the torch, and that's what we're doing here on Spectrum City Network. It's a passing of the torch, man. You got the younger generation, you know, continuing on with what was started, but also in a new way, you know. So we're reinventing through content, virtual environments, and all that sorts of stuff. But I wanted to play you something that Keith did this weekend, and it's pretty darn cool, man. He had set up a virtual environment, and he played with Club Mesh, which is DJ Lonnie Love and Dow Just. And they're all our friends on Twitch, which they're doing major things over there. We just got to Twitch. It's all new, but they did something this weekend, which we've all learned a great deal from, which was called a raid. I mean, usually when you hear about raids, it's kind of a fucked up situation. But in this case, in Twitch case, it's a dope situation where one person starts the party, they have 100 people in, and then they dump all of those people over to your account. And they did this for a whole entire weekend. I've never seen this before in my life, where they took one party, put it into another party, and then they put it into another party, and they did this shit for like 3 days straight. The dopest thing ever. Keith played on Sunday, and we probably got 100 people. But here's the ill part about it. When people come to your account on Twitch, they start like actually following you and liking you and, you know, saying, okay, cool. It was cool for the last person because we know that person, but now it's cool for us to like you and check out your stuff. And I think that's the organic part about all of this stuff like this. You get a chance to adopt another person's environment. Now, what the hell does that have to do with anything? I think we adopted the environment of the old ways and mentalities and everything like that. So, you know, in a digital world, we can do the same thing, but it's even cooler in a digital world, and we can kind of aggregate our cultures the way that we want to. But same audience, man, they dig really, really cool content. They really, really dig music, and they dig who the other person digs. So I think it was a cool thing. But I'm gonna pull up some footage from that weekend, from actually Sunday, and let's check it out. All right, hold on. Let me start this. All right, we'll be back. Now I'm gonna fast forward through all of this. Make sure that. Hold on, give me 1 second. And it probably look a little bit crazy if you tapping in on Instagram. Yo, what up, Dave? What up, man? Mr. Program Beats, man. Those beats sounding real hot, son. They sounding real hot, man. I'm gonna skip through. So this is Keith in a virtual environment. Let me play a little bit of this. Make sure that it's going through on my system. Give me 1 second. I'm switching screens here.
We just hit a party. Come on, let's get busy. Sunday afternoon, Sunday house party, Sunday day party. Let's get busy.
Knowing where you come from in the first place. Blackness is a gift from God's grace. Black in the image of God's face. I'm confused. I don't know what we stand for. First we protest, then we go to the dance floor and pop more pills and get high as the ceiling. Quit the contradictions. Let's
Virtual
start the
environment.
healing.
The green screen in the background. Got some ladies dancing. You know, rocking. But while all of this is happening, he has a huge
Going into a happy birthday to my
crowd
homegirl
of
Jeff.
people.
Let's get busy.
What I
Yo,
mean
come on.
by crowd, virtual crowd of people chatting it up, just saying all sorts of things, meetings and everything like that. And he's just rocking out. I'm on the chat box for Spectrum City
I told y'all
Network,
know I'ma
just
go.
doing that.
I'm going all over the world. Here we go.
Ooh la la la, it's the way that we rock when we doing our thing. Ooh la la la, it's the natural law that the refugees bring. Ooh la 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 la, so we sing.
All right, so that was just some footage. I'm gonna turn this off here. That was some footage from this weekend, which is really, really crazy weekend. Like I said, really, really crazy weekend with Twitch, but we're growing the following. And to all my people that's out there, Dave, even you, man, because you're like the only person up in here on Instagram. Yo, build that following on this streaming situation, man. Like what you're doing. I'm gonna just take Dave as an example. What you're doing with those beats are dope. But actually getting into the meat of it on how you're putting these joints together, man, the world wants to see that. I like to see it. But that's what we're doing with these environments, man. We're opening up the whole situation, and especially for like DJs that are playing these sets. Like they're coming down hard on us, hard body. They're coming down hard on us because we're DJing other music. And my partner Dave is he's on the back end. He's reading all of these copyright infringement letters that Facebook and Instagram are sending over and everything like that. But I think it's going to come a time where we're going to have to make the music and then play the music. But it's going to be a really, really dope situation for us to actually be in a studio and kind of open that environment up where people can check it out, and then have a DJ set on Friday to actually spin that music. So the fans are going to be a part of all the processes leading up to you jamming out with that music and playing your own works. Like, you don't see that a lot. You don't ever see that a lot. And like, say for instance, what if you saw, the making of Reminisce with Pete Rock? The making of Reminisce with Pete Rock. And then him and CL went out to perform that joint. Man, I would have lost my mind. What you say, Dave? Hold on. It's funny you're saying this, because you just set up your iPad. Exactly, bro. Exactly, man. And yo, you got any questions? Holla at me, man. I'm learning this stuff. Even this environment is virtual. It's virtual, but that's the thing, man. We only limited by our imagination. We're only limited by our imagination. And some people want to DJ on the moon. You can do that now. To a virtual environment. Set up the screen, put yourself on top, scroll your camera, toggle yourself down to a miniature size. Next thing you know, you're on the moon. There's so many possibilities to this thing. I'm telling you, so many possibilities. So I'm going to show you some things that I'm doing. There's a few shows that are on Spectrum City Network. Keith has a show, which is Tequila Thursday. I showed you the Club Mesh thing that he did with the raids and everything with their festival this weekend. I'm going to show you something that Raven Dave does with his environments. Let me find it here. Let me find it. Oh, so I can pull up my situation that Dave did. What is this? Oh, that's not us. I'm scrolling through YouTube right now. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you what I'm scrolling through. Raven Dave. Let me type in Deep Escape. Okay, for some reason, I am not finding Deep Escape. Not actually our show. I'm going to find Deep Escape because I want you guys to see this, how Dave is putting together these scenes to Deep House and everything. So let me find it for you. There we go. All right. Check this out. Give you some sound first. This is actually my favorite show on the Spectrum City channel because the messaging that are within these videos are just so freaking ill. Like, so cool. And Dave spends a lot of time on these videos, putting them together before the sets on Saturday. All sorts of Martians and AI and VR. It's crazy.
When I hold you, baby, feel your heartbeat close to
All right. So Dave, you're asking how do we go about the animation part? Well, it's just like Kanye West going about making dope music. He samples it. So Dave will go out and find videos and everything like that. He would get stuff made as well, from different collaborators and stuff like that. But a lot of this stuff is just open source that he would go and find and grab and kind of do his thing and put it together with. All of this stuff is, we're kind of going against the grain and everything like that. But the key part about this is, Dave, is to take what you need to get the concept out and then go back and kind of fill the concept in with original materials. I mean, it's just like hip hop. Take it just like hip hop. You go about, you get your sound packs, you do your thing with it. It becomes your arrangement. You filter it and everything like that, and it's yours from that. But if you had the dough, I mean, you would probably have a live instrument come in. We're taking the same concept. All of this stuff is brand new to us, so we're just doing what we can to get to where we want till we get to that bigger step. But, I mean, of course, the bigger step is to reach out to them animators, and that's the bait of all of this. It's like we do the concept, and then a real OG that's in the game will reach out and be like, yo, man, that's dope. I do this. Like, yo, well, let's collaborate, and let's do this together. We got dope music. We got dope ideas. Let's get together and do dope things. So that's kind of the way that it works, bro. Yep. Now let's go to my situation. I got something that's called Art Deco, which I do on Spectrum City Networks. Let me find something that I did with Dave Deep Escape. Let's find Art Deco. Hold on. Wow, I see a yeah, Art Deco for Keith Shockley. Let's go to the YouTube here. I guess none of my Art Decos are up here. Let's try Twitch. our channel. Video producer. How about this? Because a lot of our stuff, I mean, I don't know, as you can see, a lot of our stuff in here is muted. So we're gonna have to go back and kind of rectify here, but one's broadcasting. I'll show you this one. We're doing a show called Soul Frequency. Soul Frequency is a beat making situation. And Dave, you might want to jump on this, bro. Our beat making stream is gonna be funky, and I'll tell you why. Kind of why our channel on Twitch is popping, is because of Keith Shockley. Hall of Fame, rock and roll, Lifetime Achievement Award, Fight the Power, Public Enemy #1, like you name it. Like, this is why it's called Soul Frequency. So I'm gonna go into it just a little bit, and let's see, let's find that video to play though. And I'll show you like an overlay screen that I did to highlight the situation. If I find it, I still got to work my way around Twitch, because Twitch is situation. It's a situation. I still got to work my way around situation, because Twitch is still it's a situation. I still got to work my way around situation. Channel videos. Go to watch.
That on Instagram, because it's like the middle screen here.
Cool. So I'm gonna fast forward through this.
We're gonna rock.
And in this video, I'm using Serato Studio, as you can see. But in this segment, which all of our segments will be about, just starting a beat from scratch. Where do we get the sounds and everything like that? In this video is showing me going through Splice, finding different kick snares, hi-hats, and so on and so forth. It's really, really highlighting how the beat process go. Now, the coolest part about this situation is that the beat that I'm making, I'm going to be DJing that beat. So the highlight of all of this Soul Frequency is to make shit that you will play. Make shit that you will play. It's not like some lo-fi stuff that you'll fall asleep to or anything like that. I love that stuff. But I'll never play lo-fi in a club. Just wouldn't happen. But the shit that I play and that I would DJ, I want to get hype with that. I want to play that stuff like boom, boom, and the drums got to slap. Everything has to be on point with that. And it ain't got to be a super complex situation. It could be a loop, for God's sakes. But everything that's coming out of Soul Frequency is something that you would DJ. Because one thing about DJs, we got to get used to producing our own stuff. I don't know how long it's going to go on. I keep preaching and saying that these algorithms are real, and they are getting smarter. So imagine just getting your shit shut down by a robot. It's happening. It's already happening. But this will prevent that if we make beats that we will play. Dave, you make beats that I will play. Send them shits over. You will hear them in a mix, man, straight up. But this is the production setup that we have. All the overlay screens, as you can see, I know it's a small screen on Instagram, but all of these overlay screens I built myself. You know, of course, I just grab little emblems and everything like that. On the left side, I have Spotify. Of course, I have the Spectrum City Network. I have Twitch on one side, and then I have my little gift that's going back and forth. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's Creator support creator, just to kind of give it a vibe or something like that. Yeah. So, out of that. So there you have it. This is what's going on Spectrum City Network. It's growing. I mean, we're almost up. We're about to hit 100 people, which, come on, man, organically, 100 people are not a lot until you put them in a room together. And that's the cool stuff about Twitch. It's nowhere faking it. You can't have fake followers in Twitch. It's no hack for that. You know, and this is what makes it real, because somebody found a hack for Instagram. Somebody found a hack for Facebook. Somebody found a hack way back in the days for Twitter. You can't hack streaming. You can't hack streaming. So it's not for the fake. Straight up, your content's gonna have to be good. People are gonna wanna check the shit out. You know, you can't fake it. Like, you are who you are on screen. And I mean, that's a big part about, you know, on why, you know, shit just got really, really fake for a very, very long time. You know, you saw influencers that didn't influence, you know, no disrespect to anybody, but a lot of shit was just looking really, really suspect out there. But that's what you can't do in live stream. And this is why I'm loving live stream. My crew is loving live stream. You just can't fake anything. You are who you are on camera. And I'm loving all of that, you know. Who's that? Stacy's in here. What's up, Stacy? Harlem Zoo.
Okay. So
She's on the
after
Instagram side.
listening,
I got like
a lot
4
of
streams
intel,
going.
a lot of
And that's the
insight.
cool
So
part. Big shouts to
now I'm gonna
Dave,
start
because he
making the
runs
arrangement on the
our
track.
back
So
end. He runs the front end too with his
let's
Deep
go
Escape
in
and all that stuff like
to
that. But I mean, when you see me broadcast from one space,
And like I said, on
I'm in
Instagram,
like
you really
50
can't see this
spaces,
stuff on a
you
wide
know,
screen, so
and that's what this
yeah,
virtual
sound.
world has allowed us to
Alright,
be, man. We can
so
be
it's
all
on the
over the place
intro,
and be in one space.
things,
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm
some
on
scenes
Facebook
here.
Live. I am on the new shit, the Mixcloud.
First.
I am on Twitch right now, you know, and I'm broadcasting through Restream. So it's like some really, really cool stuff you can do in one space, man. So I'm encouraging everybody that has
Let's
cool
go to
content,
first, and
is tired of the
start
fake shit,
basically programming
to
what
really,
we
really
will
try
do
this thing
first.
out, man, because you can really, really get your art across, your
Since
message,
it's Jasper
and everything
Young,
like that.
Biggs,
And if you're
the
new to it,
forefront
check
of
this
the
out.
track.
If your
Let's see what I
content
can do
doesn't
to
necessarily tell a story, that's all good. That's all good, because once you start doing this stuff, you'll start getting into storytelling. Like right now, I'm on Trip Digital Radio. I'm broadcasting from Spectrum City Networks. All of these has a story. Trip Digital was born from the Spectrum City, and it went to LA to work with Dash Radio, which we have a show that's on Dash that broadcasts every Wednesday. And Monday nights was usually our time to be in the studio to record guests that came in and stuff like that. Real influencers, dope producers, dope MCs, and so on and so forth. But during the pandemic, we had to stop because of the social distancing, and we brought everything to Spectrum City to run as the umbrella, which is like my dream come true, because I get to work with all my super friends in one space at one time
I'll make this
on
also
one
to
channel,
bars
and
here.
we can kind of program it like an
Only get
NBC.
full now
This
for
is
the
our
first.
NBC, where we broadcast still to our personal accounts, but we can still broadcast to like other accounts that are on our friends' accounts.
Get rid of
You know, I'm broadcasting to my friend's Facebook right now, which is super fucking dope. His people get to see me do my thing, and my people get to see the other people that we bring on. So, Dave, you're still in the chat, man. Hit me up, man. I want to do a beat program with you
I'll
and
bring it back
see
in
where it goes,
form.
man. Like, it's all about togetherness now,
5, delete,
and we can't do anything alone.
6,
Protesting have shown us that. If it was just one person out there on the front line, they would have got hit with like 1,000 rubber bullets. But it was 50 of them. You ran out. So that's how we're going to attack this message. That's how we're going to attack everything that we do moving forward. Let's do it together. Let's do it strong.
It's a little
With
bit
that being
loud
said,
on my end.
I'm going to go to an old
guitar.
Trip Digital radio
Back.
program. So let me
So,
find
do the same thing.
an old Trip Digital
And
show
give
that we
it
did in the
a-
studio a while
not a-
back,
but a filter.
because it's all about highlighting what we've done that was really, really cool to get us to this point. Let's see, which one do I run here? Let's go to that now.
See how it sounds.
Got a lot of promos up here. You know what? I'm gonna run a promo
Okay,
just to
yeah,
show the
I kinda
work
decided
that we put
the
in.
track.
We had a
So, let me go
partnership
back to
with
these
LA Life,
especially,
LA Style Magazine, and this is a promo from what we
and bring
did.
that filter back, and I'm gonna
This
lower
is like a
that
year
just
ago.
little bit.
Trip Digital Radio Sound Art Expression presents LA Style Magazine. The dynamic duo is taking over the airwaves at Dash Native Rhymes. Get used to it. Thanks to our guests, Chris Copeland, Kelly Shapiro, Parker, and Christine Andreu. Thank you so much for serving the country. And thank you to listeners for being consistent with us as we grow and show you a better way to radio.
Okay, so that was supposed to be the hook. So let's bring back the jazz piano. Waiting.
So that was a promo from about a year ago from our partnership with LA Style Magazine. Dave always put together the promo every week, and it was all about collaboration then. I'm going to find another show, an actual show, and play it for you guys. Hold up, this is a Cypher Connection here.
This is the verse, and then goes
It's a
to the
27-minute interview
1, 2.
on Trip Digital Radio. We were on site at the studio in Santa Ana, California, and it's with an artist by the name of Willie V. And this was a collaboration that Trip Digital started during.
Okay.
It was like the first of the year.
So,
Like we wasn't
we got the
recording in the
verse and the
studio and
hook,
everything like that.
and
Dash had closed down because they were
I'm
moving
going
from the
to,
Cahuenga Hollywood studio
the
to
intro.
the studio on Hollywood Boulevard, which was so beautiful.
Drums on the end.
And soon as they opened the fucking doors, it closed. It closed for the pandemic. But this is what came from us being idle.
Clear.
And I always tell people that, do not just sit around and wait for people to tell you what to do. You got a lot of ideas. You got some cool stuff going. You're not hurting anyone. Start the idea. Always have that proof of concept. Always have that going. And that way, once you get in front of the person that you're trying to sell or trying to pitch or whatever, you already have that thing made. It's already made. They can see it. They can touch it. They can feel it. The emotions are there. And they just get the yes. I've always gotten a yes because I started the homework before the homework was issued. So this is starting the homework before the homework is issued. This is the Cypher Connection and Trip Digital Radio. This is our second
Hi-hats
show
as
with
well.
them. Willie V. Trip Digital Radio Sound Art Expression. You're back, DJ Journey. And we're in the building again. Woo woo! With the Cypher Connection. What's going on? Happy New Year, guys.
Happy 2020.
Happy New Year. Happy
New Year.
2020.
How you guys feel? You feel like,
Feel
ready to do
energized.
futuristic
Heck
things?
yeah.
We up in the future now. I feel
2020.
grateful. I feel like
Just
everything's
doing-
magnified.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be blessed infinitely in 2020.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the year of vision. Whatever vision you have.
It is.
It's in the title,
Show me
2020.
documentation. on that.
Heck yeah,
It's
it's in
clear.
the title, 2020.
clear.
We got it. Whatever vision you have, this is the year you go out and get it.
Facts.
Go out and
Shout
get
out
it.
to all you lazy people. If you haven't been working, it's not your time.
It's not your time.
Okay.
Get up.
Hey.
Get up. It's time to get
But you
up.
still got time in 2020.
Yeah, you got 10 years to get it together. I mean, we
This
work in
decade.
decades, we work in decades here. That's what's up. So what's going on? So you guys are back. You just had a show. What was it? A
Right.
week
Okay,
ago or
try
something
this
like
again.
that?
I'm gonna take
A couple
out
days ago, a
Couple
week
days ago.
ago. Yeah, on the 7th actually.
On 7th.
Yeah, so about 2 days ago, we had our first Cypher connection of the year.
2020 Cypher Connection.
Yeah, super lit, super great, good vibes all around for sure.
So with last year being what it was, and this year, did people come back with that energy and ready to perform this year?
Oh
the first
yeah,
Cypher
yeah.
Connection?
I think with last year we ended with the bang, especially after we had Love Jams.
Yeah.
You know, that was just such a success. We had artists come in and the community, and we donated a lot of food and goods, and there were families in need, and so that unity and that love, like it was felt, you know, it was December, it was a holiday, so we really felt that, and then
It carried, huh?
It carried as soon as-
into the shebang of 2020.
I have to say on this last show at the Cypher Connection, it was just fun
And
energy.
electric.
Right? It just, from the beginning to end, it was just fun energy. It was just,
Yes.
yeah, so it's an exciting year.
Everyone was on, even though it was cold outside, it was on fire.
Yeah.
Like people were dripping, people were getting down, and it was just a vortex of energy this time. I feel like it really carried into the 2020
Right.
after Love Jam. So
After Love
we
Jams,
feel so blessed and grateful.
Yeah, just positive vibes, right?
Yeah.
More positive vibes.
So who was the highlight of the last show? Who stood out?
I wanna.
You know, for
I wanna
me,
know who you stood out for
honestly-
you, girl.
Honestly, I'm gonna tell the truth. All our artists are great, but I have to say, for me, who stood out was the host this time. I mean, he
Really?
was the
You're
host
just saying
this
that
time.
because he's here.
I know,
yeah?
I'm biased.
Come
I
on.
am a
Because
little
we're
biased,
next to
but
each
you know,
other?
no. I thought there were some topics that were brought up that were
Yeah.
could have gotten really dark. You know, it was very
Okay.
dark, and you turned it, and you showed the value of it. You brought the point, but you made it. It was more an awareness instead of going into a darker place.
Yeah.
You kept the good, positive energy on serious topics, and for me, that's a good host, right?
Thank you.
Someone that can do that and not bring the energy down, but still have it lifted, even if these are dark topics.
So was that dance, comedian, performance, or how did that transpire?
Well, there was a couple of deep issues I think that we talked about.
One of
mental
them-
health.
One of them
During the
was
show?
It was during the
show.
show. People
Okay.
after like one of the people that performed actually brought up mental health, and so after his performance, interviewed him real quick, and we just got deep into the discussion. Like so people started opening up about their mental health,
Right.
you know, and just to bring light to that it's all actually all good, that we all need some sort of form of like strengthening our mental health, just like going to the gym, right? We go in then to work out, right, our bodies, but also we got to work out our mind, you know what I
Right,
mean? So it's important to
right.
practice that, and it's okay to actually practice working
Right.
out our intellectual mind,
Yeah.
which is important.
I mean,
Exactly.
do you guys think the mental health is from those individuals, or it's from the lack of connecting, isolation? What is it?
Yes.
What do you think it's
Com-
from?
I think
combination.
there are individuals that do need specific care, but the majority is we are losing connection in this day and age. I mean, we have the whole world in our phones and on our laptops. We can get any information. We could talk to
Yeah.
any person, but at the same time, we're the most disconnected ever.
Yeah.
You know, people are literally dying of loneliness more than they are for cigarettes. You know, it's like that's an epidemic. You know, and that's the problem. We isolate ourselves. We need to tell more stories. If more of us shared our stories, we'd realize that we're not alone. I'm not the only one that thinks this way. I'm not the only one going through this. So we need to connect and speak our
Yes,
truth,
to
speak our
fully
lives.
connect.
Yeah.
Well,
That's-
that's the premise of Cypher Circle Connection.
That's
right?
right.
For connection.
That's
yeah,
right. It
that's
is the
what we're here.
prems.
And it's great because that's what we really felt this last show for 2020. It was great, just good energy, wasn't it? It was just like
It was
really
full
good
on.
energy,
It was
fun.
High frequency for sure.
Yeah.
Good,
Yes.
good.
And then there was another there was an artist that brought up the issue of Iran and what's going on in the world
That
right
part.
now.
Yeah.
And you know that could have went a little dark too. And again, you turned it around. And then there was another lady, you know, and she said that she wanted to show what a good relationship between America and Iran would be, and she went up and hugged him
In front of everybody.
in front of everyone.
And everyone would literally at the same time,
Right,
oh,
it
and then
was
like cheered
powerful.
on, and like it was roaring energy of like
Right.
celebration and like pure love,
Love.
no judgment, zero judgment in the room, honestly.
Love, yeah.
Yes.
Well, it goes to show you how one person that's negative can represent a group, and it's time for more leaders like you guys. I mean, to come in to actually build a platform, have people come in comfortably and be themselves.
Right.
Yes,
So I
absolutely.
think we need more of this. We definitely need more of this.
Yes, absolutely. And to be honest, one of my standouts. Thank you for that was you're so.
it's
I love this
true.
baby girl. This is baby girl Sylvia.
It's
you
group
know.
props here. Group
Yes,
props.
but who stood out to me that night was one of the artists that came for the first time to Cypher Connection. She goes by the name of the Twitch Kid,
Oh yeah.
AKA Soul.
Yes.
aka Solomon.
Yeah.
And it
A
was
lot of aliases, huh?
yeah, she was a full character. She was pretty intergalactic. He was super super out of this world, and I just wanted to give a shout out to the Twitch Kid.
Woo,
Woo
amazing.
woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, full unique style, and just all about just being in his full, like, representing himself with no judgment, and like not being afraid to be judged himself. So that
Right.
was very important.
And he did this crazy things with these crystals. It was like this juggling thing. Like there's this
Yeah.
old
Crystal
movie called,
balls.
crystal balls. There's this old movie called Labyrinth.
I
And
watched that.
have you
That's-
seen
Oh, you
it?
seen
with
that
David
one?
Bowie. Yeah,
It's
he does.
trippy.
He did that. He was doing that with it was amazing. I was like, it's amazing. So very talented, very talented.
Yeah.
What's up? That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, we got to keep the show moving. Trip Digital Radio Sound Art Expression. We'll be back with an artist that you guys want to interview.
That's right.
part.
Shout
We're the
out.
Cypher Connection family.
Honestly,
That's what's up. We'll be back. Trip Digital Radio Sound Art Expression. We're back. We got a new group in. Introduce yourselves.
What up? What up? I'm Sylvester, aka Equal,
Yes.
the DJ for the Cypher Connection.
I'm Maurice Sanchez. I'm the audio guy. Anything technical, hopefully lighting and projection, all that good stuff soon.
Yeah. So you won't be doing CPR, any of that stuff like that.
None. Don't look for
saving
me.
Lives. All right, cool.
Nothing.
I'm certified, ladies.
That's what's up, man. So we got you guys here, man, from a sound perspective. Like, what are you hearing through these microphones and through these speakers? Are you hearing passion? Are you hearing conviction? Are you hearing BS? Are you hearing people that just want to be seen? Like, what's your take on the artists? that you-
As far as like some of the artists that come
Yeah.
through are pretty dope. There's some people
Dope.
that come through and the patterns that they spit, I'm like, wow, like you guys are on it. So definitely there's a collective group of people who are still pushing forth the evolution of hip hop, ciphers and whatnot.
Yeah.
I do sometimes hear a little bit of the BS crowd, but you can already tell who it's going to be. But for the most part, I've been seeing a lot of talent that's been coming around lately. So yeah, I'd say it's some good stuff. Yeah.
So what's your role again with Cypher Connection? You're like the DJ, the music provider.
Yeah, so basically I'm the DJ of the whole event. I just try to tie in the hip hop that I love, as well as sometimes push forward into what we're kind of hearing today. But normally, when it comes to playing the tracks in between, talking and whatnot, I'll play the tracks that I like or that I'm comfortable with. And then when it comes to the freestyle or the cypher round, that's where I'll play like more of the trappy kind of beats, because I know that people might want to get down on that. So that's kind of how I choose.
I didn't ask you this question last time you were here, but
Yeah.
name some of the producers that have sent in the beats. I know you're making beats. You have a couple more guys.
So there's Josta, and there was obviously you, Andrew, which is Kiki's cousin, and also had a friend of mine just recently submit some of his beats, Darren Salazar. So he submitted some beats. There's also Rudy Six.
Okay.
I forgot what he changed his name so much now. I'm like, I don't know what his tagline is now. So Rudy Six submitted some beats, as well as Carlton Fresh.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been kind of spinning their tracks here and there.
Yeah.
And some new guys that came through just last week, earlier this week. There's a guy named what's his name? Ali something. Ali Slaps. Ali Slaps.
That's his name.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Ali
I'm
Slaps.
confirming.
So yeah, And so I put that in a little bit.
So how could other producers be involved in that rotation? Like, what's the process?
It's easier for me to either if you have it on a thumb drive,
Yeah.
but they can also send it to the email, which is the email that is provided
We
with
set it up. Yeah.
the Trip Digital
Yeah.
radio, info at tripdigital
Yeah.
at gmail.com.
So we need more producers, man. Like,
Yeah,
we need
That'd be great.
definitely.
Yeah.
more fire
Yeah.
to the ongoing process that you
Mhm.
guys are setting up, man.
Yeah.
So that's what's up. So your role, let's get into your role because you got a very, very technical situation going on here.
Yeah, I do the dirty work.
Yeah.
I run the cables
Yeah.
and
So you like pull the cable. When
Yeah,
you
all
got a
that
whack
stuff.
rapper. Come on.
yeah, I will. Not I haven't yet, but I will.
I know you guys got that beeping system where when no one can curse.
You know
so-
what? I was just about to talk to him today to set that up on a button right on his board. One curse, beep beep, 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 beep,
Yep.
beep. and if he looked at me, he gave me the wink. Boom,
Nice.
muted.
So yeah, guys, that was footage from Trip Digital Radio interview that I did with Cypher Connect. So all of these guys are involved with this thing that they do every first Monday of the month. Or actually, it's first Thursday of the month. Every first Thursday of the month, they do this thing in Orange County called Cypher Connection. So it's really, 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 really cool, man. And these guys pulled in a lot of talent. I mean, I think they started like the first of last year, and I got involved with them to kind of organize producers and sending in beats and so on and so forth. And it was a pretty cool turnout for these guys, and they got a lot of artists following. So that's from Orange County, California. That's like Southern California, a little bit below LA. Yeah, so more from Trip Digital Radio, like old shows here. Let me see what I can pull up. That's pretty cool. So much. I mean, we're talking like 5 years of shows here. Okay, so let's talk about Louise Aguilera, right? Louise Aguilera. I don't know if you guys know who Juan Gabriel is. Juan Gabriel he's like the Michael Jackson of Latin music. Juan Gabriel wrote so many songs for the Latin market. It's ridiculous. He's really the Michael Jackson, and I say Michael Jackson by popularity, but his songwriting skills in the Latin space, immense. So this was 2 years ago. My friend Alice Aoki, Steve Aoki's cousin, hit me up, and she moved to Hawaii, and she's like, "Hey, Journey, you doing a radio show tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on?" She's like, "I got a artist that I want you to interview tonight." And I'm like, okay, well, you're really, really throwing off my game because we usually book artists onto the show 2 weeks out. But you want me to interview them tonight? I'm going to have to move some things around. I'll call you back. So I'm like, who she is. She never calls me out of the blue to interview anybody. This must be somebody. So I called her back. I'm like, Alice, all right, I get this dude 30 minutes. She's like, okay, what time do you want him to be there? I'm like, well, we start at 9. So at least by 8:45, we get set up. So I get to there around 8:30 or something like that. And we pull up to Dash Radio. It's in Hollywood, Los Angeles. And the front desk lady is like, yo, you got some people waiting on you. I'm like, okay, that's cool. She's like, nah, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them in the lounge area. So I go to the lounge area. I see big ass movie cameras. I see big ass like lights, light rigs and all this. I'm like, who the fuck? What's going on? So I introduce myself. And this guy's like, hey, so you Journey? I'm like, yeah, I'm Journey. So I'm like, yeah, Alice hit me up. She said you guys would come. And it's like, yeah, we got Luis Aguilera here, Juan Gabriel's son. We want to interview him. We're doing a promo for his single. I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are, but my girl, she hit me up and she said, interview you. I'm like, all right, cool. So they come into the small studio that we were in the basement of Dash Radio Studios. So I'm like, I don't know how you guys are going to get these light rigs and cameras up in here, but that's up to you. He's going to sit here. I'll sit here on the other side, and I got 3 other hosts that's coming in. So y'all going to have to make room. I don't know if bodyguards can fit up in there, but we're going to make this thing work because my friend said make it work. So we get set up and everything like that, and we have a camera guy, which is Itchy at the time. He couldn't even get in the room. The room was so fucking small, he couldn't get in the room. So we're like, Itchy, we'll negotiate where they send the footage and we'll go from there. So I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, we're gonna need this footage because my camera guy can't get in. He's like, yeah, I'll send it to you, but we gotta scan it and go through our process and 7 managers and all that shit like that. I'm like, okay, this is difficult, but we're gonna get through it. So we goes on, and I say 5 minutes before I did my research on who Juan Gabriel was. I'm like, oh shit, Juan Gabriel just died like last year. And this is the heir of his son. And I see so much on this guy. I'm like, damn, he's like a god in the Latin music space. And this kid, he's like the heir of that shit. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it now. I got it. But what do I talk to this guy about? It was one of the best interviews that I ever did in my whole radio career. I did not know this guy from Adam, but there were so many commonalities once we started the conversation. I was like, I don't know much about Latin music. You know, I started naming like the commercial shit, like the J-Los and all that stuff like that. He like, nah. I'm into hip hop. And he started naming all these hip hop artists and everything like that. He started naming R&B, some soul stuff. He's like, yo, that was my dad, but I'm doing this. I'm into this. I'm like, oh shit, you on some Enrique Iglesias type shit. You don't want to have nothing to do with Julio. I thought it was pretty dope. I'm going to play you some footage from this. Pretty nice, man. Around 5:30 today, Alice Aoki hit me up. She's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing me. What's up? How are you? It's like, I'm good. I have a favor to ask. I want you to interview someone on your show. She sent me a link. I'm like, wow, this guy's dope. And he's someone. Let's do it. So I did some rearranging and everything, and these guys are here today. This guy is here today. So I just want to introduce him.
Nice.
Luis Aguilera. I'm going to have to pause this because I want a few people to see this from our Instagram page. So let me log back into the system here. Just give me one moment. I'm going to play some music, so I'll be back. Okay. All right, so we're back. We're back. So, like I said, I want to play you this interview, and I had to log back into my my Instagram because I got a few people that was checking in, that was following the story of this whole thing. So, let's see. All right, so we're back on again. So, Luis Aguilera, let's go into this. This is truly, truly an epic moment. An epic moment in Instagram history and YouTube history. And most importantly, Trip Digital Radio history. All right, here we go.
I can be the lean, you can be the Sprite. I can be the loud, you can be the fire. I can be that. I can be your everything.
Luis Alberto Aguilera.
Yes.
Indeed.
Do you use the
You use that?
middle?
I kind of use just more like the first and last. But I mean, but it's like people know like the full name and stuff.
Oh man, you messed up my whole. I was put you on the map.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I don't use that. That's all right though.
No, it's
stuff,
cool. It's
good
like
stuff.
either or. Like it's I mean,
It sounds cooler.
No,
to use all.
it's the three names. You know, it's proven through history.
yeah.
Yeah.
Love
So
it, love it.
producer, songwriter,
Yes, and singer.
and singer as well. Yes. So I want to jump right into it. I know Tiz got some questions because we talked about this before.
Oh yes,
so
I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I'm gonna get right into this. So we was emailed earlier a song. It's called Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
When did that song come out?
Song came out I think in 2012, 13, or 14. Right? It's I did this song like a while back.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I saw the Sprite in the video. So was it something that was by Sprite, or were you guys?
No, it was just it was like with the visuals and stuff. It was just just playing with the visuals and concepts and stuff. Like
Yeah.
that. And I mean like that was the name of the song, so it would have been like kind of like why is this called Sprite? But there's like no Sprite.
Well, that's my question. It's like where was the influence for that track? You know, for the concept of Sprite itself, and then I'll go into the hook and the lyrics. But I just wanted to ask about that.
Well, I think that, the concept of the song is pretty like self-explanatory if you listen to the song. It's a comparison and just a comparison how love can be like a drug sometimes. It can be addictive. It can be it just can be like a drug. So it's like using like drug references. It was a creative way to approach like a love song.
Yeah.
But so it was just a creative little like thing that I wanted to do, and that song came out. I started off. I just started making the beat, like the melody for it, and then just started adding like the drums. And next thing you know, I was like kind of just had a melody to go on top of that, and then just kind of started playing with lyrics, and the song just kind of developed. It took me like I think like 3 days to like finish it. Like 1 day for the beat.
Yeah.
1 day for the melodies and the lyrics, and the last day to like mix it, and like that was it. I actually left it kind of a little bit more rough.
Yeah.
On the mix side, and I thought that actually added, like value to the song, having it not be perfectly like mixed, but just have everything like all the levels like sitting right and stuff. Like that added to the concept of the song.
I'm so intrigued now. Gotta hear Sprite.
Yeah.
It's a
We
tough track.
gotta send that link to you. But you're from a musical background, right? And we're gonna get right into that side of things. Where you from, who your dad is, and how this music thing even came about. So let's briefly talk about your dad for a little bit. He was a songwriter, producer, singer, and he was kind of huge, right?
Yeah,
Kind of.
So I'll let you I'll let you
was.
say a few things about him and how you got to this point of being inspired. So who's your dad?
My dad is Juan Gabriel, and he's
Okay.
he's a very well known Mexican singer, songwriting icon, and
definitely.
yeah, like that's my dad. So it's
Yeah.
Shoes.
Yes.
How's it? What is it about in filling those shoes? Do you feel obligated or?
No, I don't think I'm trying to fill his shoes or anything. If anything, maybe follow in his footsteps or use him as inspiration, motivation, and stuff like that. But as far as filling his shoes, I think that's never even crossed my mind because it's impossible. I think people are unique, like just like our fingerprints are unique. Like that's why our fingerprints are unique because it's a reflection of us. Like sometimes we're similar in the way of thinking, in the way physically, in the way of expressing ourselves, etc. There's similarities throughout people, even if they're not related.
Yeah.
Now, if they're related, it's like those similarities increase. So I think with my dad, the thing is like there's a lot of similarities between us. So I think that maybe and that's a fair question, like how I would plan to fill his shoes and stuff like that. But the answer to that, it's like I wouldn't try to fill his shoes. I wouldn't. I more see it the way, like I said, using him as inspiration and trying to achieve my own greatness and as a human being and as an artist and that, and always using him as a point of reference whenever I need some sort of motivation and that, like looking at him that way, but never, because it would be impossible to try. Any like artists, people are impossible to replace. Like even if you had a twin, that's like exactly born the same year, same hour, same minute, even then there's like always gonna be differences.
Yeah, I felt that was a trick question, though.
It was definitely.
That was the first thing that came to my mind was like, those are some shoes, and then he just said it as I was thinking it.
Yeah, it's just like any great dad that has a child. It's it's always this comparison, but I think there is no comparison. You can always be who you are and have your own take on life because it's different times and times are changing anyway. But were you from the gate of being born into this very musical family? Were you like inspired by music, or did you have other things that you were into, like sports or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to be a soccer player when I first like that was like my first passion. Like I always liked art and things like that. And, but soccer was like something that really like drew me, and that's something that I was always out in the field like practicing, and whether it was raining or it was cold or hot or I was even a little sick, whatever, I was always like out in the field practicing. That was like my passion. I would think about it and like think of like moves and think of ways I could like play better, and always playing and training. And I was so committed to that mentally and emotionally that when I started doing music, or even considering doing music, and the fact that I felt not like advanced, because there's always so much more you can do, but in soccer I was so committed and visually I was committed and advanced in the sense that that's what I wanted to do. But even then I was willing to let go of that for music, which was still a mystery because I didn't really have a skill. I didn't have any like defined, like the skills were internal and stuff, but they weren't like developed or anything. Right. But I was willing to take the risk of leaving that dream of playing soccer for a new dream of music. I knew there was something there, and I had to pursue it because it made me feel, complete. It made me feel, just creating it connected within me at a different level.
Did you spend a lot of time in the studio with your dad to see the recording processes or anything like that?
I mean, like our situation was like we grew up like separate and stuff. I couldn't see him that much because of his line of work, which is ironic that I ended up doing like the same. But
it's in the blood.
Yeah. This and
So literally no kind of influence from him, but outside of the musical background. But I mean, is there any influence?
Oh, I think definitely as far as like the quality and how his influence comes more in the structure rather than the style. Because his style of music is very, very unique and it's defined, but it's creative. It's him. It's him. So his influence, I love his songs, I love to listen to him. I love to sing along to him and stuff. But mainly his main influence that he had on me, and of course he influenced me even with his music, like in what I'm making.
Yeah.
There's an influence, but mainly his influence comes from like the structure and how passionate and how dedicated and how committed he was.
Yeah.
And his songwriting capability, like he just wrote and wrote and wrote songs and wrote songs, and he just kept them going, and like that
That's awesome.
constantly. Like it was just he was just a creative person, always making songs. So that's one of the biggest inspirations that I get from him is that I think that
That's awesome. That's awesome, because a lot of people don't talk about the structural and
Exactly.
the ethics behind a person to make them great. They're just kind of worshiping, the song and stuff like that. But that's a great thing that you got a chance to see that and adopt that. And are you taking some of those structures and patterns and everything that he's done to apply to your work?
Yeah, I think that I can say that there is, like, structure wise, even if I'm doing a different type of music or stuff. I think that structure is there is where I draw the most inspiration from. Like, and more than anything, like I said, the commitment and the volume of like the songs that just amount of songs that he made, and so many like hits and so many like things and so much creativity and development and all that. That's where I like look over and where I feel like I need to challenge myself to even if it's in my own lane, be great in that sense.
Yeah, I got a question about that because while you were speaking about that, I was looking at it and I'm saying, okay, your dad had this lane, and he was awesome, in this lane. Now you're going out and you're doing your own thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever get criticism for stepping out and not taking or following in that lane, but having your own lane? Because those people are coming back looking at you and like, hey, yo, you Juan Gabriel's son. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be giving me the next generation of him.
Yeah.
But you're doing your thing. So my question is, do you get a little criticism for that as well?
I think no, I don't. At least I don't feel it. So the fans, I think right now they're very accepting and supportive and understanding of what I'm doing. They're patient, and that's what like gives me the most strength and confidence in doing what I'm doing. But as far as that, I'm aware that they're gonna want something like that. So while I'm not gonna just straight up try to imitate what my dad was doing, because that would be like, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. But for them, I do have some things like special music that I'm working on right now in Spanish that I think it's gonna be of their taste for the people that were expecting. Even though I feel like regardless of what I do, they're gonna understand me and accept it. I don't want to, like take advantage of that and be like, oh, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just fully disregard what they might want. No, even I'm gonna do what I feel and what I like, and I think that I feel their supportiveness, and that, like I said, that helps a lot. But even then, just as a thank you and a way for me to show appreciation back, I'm gonna have a couple songs ready that I think they're gonna connect more with. Gonna kind of go a little bit out of my lane a little bit to create something that I think they might connect with a little better.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice bridge.
Yeah,
And you
but it still feels natural with what I'm doing. It's still me, but it's just my delivery on a ballad.
Yeah.
And a more classical, like, ballad type of feel.
Okay.
Did you have to study to do that? Like, since it's out of your lane, like.
No, thankfully, I'm working with the right people.
Nice, yeah.
I'm working with the right people, and they're helping me with the stuff that I don't know necessarily, and that I would have took me years and years of doing all this stuff to do. I'm working with people that have that input and have that experience, and they can help me with that.
Yeah.
So it's still my creativity, but it's a little more guided, a different route.
Yeah.
So it's still coming out my essence, but delivered differently.
Okay. So what if you would name your style of music? What would you say? I know it's Latin, but like what style is it? Latin electronic, Latin hip hop oriented? Because the song that we heard, it was in English, the Sprite song, and it was a backbeat kind of hip hop stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's very R&B,
Yeah.
hip hop, and alternative. Yeah.
Is that your style, or is that what you're going for?
Well, I love that style of music. So, but I wouldn't name it my style. I think my style of music is just music. I think most musicians feel that way, and especially right now in 2017, like we feel that way that we just want to try music because music is that's what it is. It's free. It's sounds. It's noises, it's concepts, it's tempos, it's rhythms, it's all these different things. And I think genres are cool because while they do give music a structure, they bring order to it. Genres are also a little bit dangerous because they kind of put a limit to music. So it's like...
Hold on. Could you say that again?
Okay.
I'm going to turn up your mic.
Exactly.
Because we have a lot of creative people that listen to this show. And we were arguing last week about the same thing. So can you repeat that?
That's it.
That's very true, man.
Genres are what?
Okay, so genres are like a double-edged sword. They're on one half, they're good because they give music, which is this free essence. It's air.
Right.
Music I mean, I'll get into a different thing right now. But yeah, it's just freedom. It's just no limit. It's sounds. It travels. It's just everything.
Yeah.
So genres give it a structure, and it's cool because they give it some sort of order.
Market.
But they're dangerous because they limit the creativity. You could, if you're making country music and you try to add a synthesizer, there's right away someone's gonna be like, hold on,
right?
Because that's not country music. Oh, okay, no, okay. Well, let's go back. Or if you're making hip hop music. But see, the thing, hip hop music is cool because there's already a lot of freedom in it.
Yeah.
But even then, like it's like for example, like it took a minute for like singing to be accepted in hip hop because hey, wait, hold on, what do you mean you're singing? This is hip hop, rap. And then so genres are cool because they give it a structure, but they also they're dangerous because they limit it. That's
yeah. You say that again. I'm a music producer, and you know, some of the stuff that I do is not considered hip hop. And my hip hop guys are like, yo, what is this? My electronic people are like, what is this? And I try to explain to them that it's music, and they're so tied in. And I think that, you know, our music ecosystem kind of like bridges gaps, but they also keep you in zones of like, okay, this is country, this is hip hop, this is EDM, this is that and the other, until we as artists take our claim and say, hey, I'm going to do what Nelly did. I'm going to put a country single on my hip hop or something like that. But I mean, I had to hear that again because
so,
dude.
So with that being said, then since there's so many different genres and so many things going out there, who are your influence? Who influences your music and your style?
I mean, I definitely
outside
have
of your father.
I definitely have like artists that I like and I prefer stuff. But what actually influences my music that actually like adds a structure to it is just music. It's everything. It's like the way I started making music was I started listening to Tupac.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. Then I started listening to like 50 Cent, Eminem, The Game. So it was just rap, and I liked the freedom in it.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends, one time I was in school, and it was lunch, and he had this CD with him, and he showed it to me. He started playing for me, and it was Kanye.
Yeah.
So that was a whole new introduction for me. Because Kanye is it's a hybrid. He's a creative guy. So it added something to it. It caught my attention even more. Then I started listening to Chicago rappers. I started listening to Common, and I started to listening to like more like East Coast rap. I started listening to Talib Kweli.
Give me goosebumps.
Talib Kweli.
Give me goosebumps.
You know that's a Chicago native right there.
Yeah.
So he like that.
Started listening to Mos Def. Mos Def is like I think Mos Def is super cool because it's like he raps and he's a super good rapper. But one of my favorite things about Mos Def is when he sings. Like he has the song on the New Danger. It's called The Panties. The song is funny. It has a funny name, but it's a super cool song because he's singing the whole song through, and it starts off one way, and then it just builds a little. And it's simple, but it's just him singing the whole way, and it's cool.
I love Mos Def. He had this song called Uma. He was talking about his grandmother. Mommy said, "Shine a light on the world." shine a light for the world to see. I want my people to be free.
So
He's
it goes.
always
So
good
I'm,
stuff, man.
I go from
Yes.
listening to that music, and then I'm listening that the songs have samples in the background.
Yeah.
So I started getting curious to where these samples come from.
Right.
So I started listening to like 60s music and like 70s music and 40s music, and I was listening to Ray Charles, and I started listening to the Drifters, and I realized that these people didn't have auto tune back then. They didn't have a lot of the like mixing and mastering things. This,
Yeah.
the thing that gave these songs their beauty was how raw they were and how like you had to really nail it. And
Yeah.
how challenging they were for the artist, and even then it's just like, hey, like we're not even focusing on the quality, we're focusing on the essence.
Right.
So that was that, and then I started listening to like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley, and then I started listening to and then by now I realized when I go back to hip hop, there's something missing. I actually connect with singing.
Yeah.
Then I start trying to like sing and develop my songs like that, and then I'm like, all right, well, like I can't just be like downloading beats online. Like I need to make my own.
Yeah.
So I started trying to do that, and then I come across another challenge, which is like, I don't know how to produce. I don't know how to play the piano. I don't know how to play the guitar. So I have to learn all that, and so on and so on until like where I am at the point where I am now, where I feel more confident with my craft. But I am aware that there's always going to be a lot of room for growth, because there's points where I felt when I was like learning how to play the piano, I was like, no, I got it now. There's nothing that I need to learn more.
Yeah.
And the next year I felt the same. And the next year I felt the same. And then I had to realize that every year I felt like there was nothing more I could learn, which meant I was wrong, because that's what I felt every year. So that means that there is something to learn every year. So I changed my whole mindset. So now I don't limit myself to where I feel like, oh, I got it now. Even if I feel confident, it's more like I can't wait to see what I learn next year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way of looking at your musical growth, because a lot of kids don't go in with that. And we talk about this a lot on our show, because we look at the landscape of what's out there, and then we start to measure the differences out there. And there's not a lot of difference, because a lot of kids don't take that approach towards it, to do that research, to have
learn
many different artists, and to go back to your thing that you're doing and have that structure to create something different off of those influence, and just still have your perspective that are on there that is not influenced by anything out there, which is kind of the hardest thing to do, but it's very rewarding when you do something like that. And every artist that you name, which was the first 5 was Interscope artists.
Exactly. They sure were.
Like 50 Cent, Eminem, Games. Like, okay, that's Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre's creation.
Yeah.
But it's
Do
a
you have
great thing.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you have any mentors to thank for everything that you just explained now, your perspective? Do you have any mentors that you would say helped with that, or is it?
I mean, like I said, it's a similar response to what are my musical influences and like what are my mentors, and it's everything. It's like I feel like I've learned everything from every genre of music, as far as sonically, structure, creativity, and every artist. I try to, even though I don't know them, a lot of them have already passed away, or a lot of them I had never met, so stuff. But I try to imagine like who is the person creating that, and I, in a way that they're like a mentor. Like the music they're they're not, because I don't know their personality, but the music they're creating became a mentor, and also the music they created became an influence. So it's like, but now it's like the people that I meet, the things I learn from them are mentoring me. They're adding to myself. And my dad was a huge mentor for me. The conversations we had and the time we got to spend together, like that was it's a mentorship time for me. So I think I think everything life. I believe in just like, you know, destiny, and that things happen for a reason. But within that destiny, we have our choices. So it's not like everything's pre-made for us and we're just gonna sit here and then next thing we wake up, it's like, well, I'll just fall asleep and everything's destined and I'll wake up rich. You know? So it's like destiny does bring you to the right places, but it's what you do in those places that creates like the result for that.
Another message.
I like that.
You're like 100 years old.
I'm about to say,
Like
man, how old are you?
You're like a young grandfather. Just dropping jewels, man.
That's great.
Hey, look, I'm ready to hear some of this music. So what are you going to play for us?
All right, man. I don't know. What do you guys want to hear? I got a couple.
Sprite. I want to hear Sprite.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
finish-
All right,
start
we'll
with
play-
that.
we'll
All right,
start
so
with that
let's
one
spray.
something.
Let's go into the new
Oh.
ones.
Or
You can look Sprite up on the interior
Gotcha.
net.
Hey, we've
Like-
been talking about it. Give them
So we
something.
skip Sprite. We're
Yeah.
going to new.
Give them
Or
a
we-
little
Yeah.
bit.
Go to something
Nervous.
new. Trip Digital Radio Sound Art Expression. Wow. What was the name of that song?
Song is called Nervous. It's still getting developed. I might change some lyrics, might change some notes, probably re-record a couple things. So still in the works, but it's
The
quite-
808 was
Solid.
tickling my
Yeah,
ears.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was nice, baby.
What you
Yeah,
think,
I
Mia?
like
I like.
that. I like that.
I was trying to look it up to see what it reminded me of. A song that I really like that's out right now. I'm sorry to do comparisons. I know that offends.
Mia's a sound
artists.
engineer.
Yeah,
she
she's
has to
sound
do that.
engineer.
She's technical.
So yeah, I was trying to look it up because it reminds me a lot of that song. It's not that it's a carbon copy, but I like the vibe a lot. So
Yeah, definitely.
really current, vibey. So
Yeah.
simple too.
I got a
Simple-
question on that. You know, even with the Sprite song and with this one, who are you talking to?
Sprite.
All love, man. It's all this love going on. Who you talking to?
I mean,
You got a girlfriend?
Huh?
No.
You about to put
All
this
right,
man
ladies,
on
he's
blast?
single out here,
No, no,
baby.
I'm single. No, man, it's just I get inspiration from like situations and moments like that. But
So you speaking about your past, or
it's a little bit of everything. I think what inspires me the most is it's everything. It's past, present, and future. I think past has the nostalgia value, it has the lessons, it has the memories. The present is what you're living in, what you're learning, your current mood, and the future are your visions, your hopes, your dreams. So it's like a little bit of everything. It's like, so whenever I'm writing a song, I just kind of start it, and then if I get a little like stuck, I try to find out like what's going on here. Like, what am I writing about? Is it something past? Is it something I'm going through in the present, or is it actually a vision of the future? I think about a lot of my songs. I feel like it's kind of weird. Like, I'll write them like a year, 2, 3, 4 before, and then 4 years later, I'll be like, I feel like I'm going through that, and it's like almost like I'm like, am I predicting this, or am I writing my own like fate? Like, I don't know.
Like the Twilight Zone.
That's
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
you got a powerful pen over here, man. Powerful
Yeah, man.
pen.
So if you guys want to win the lotto or something cool,
Yeah,
just
I was-
let
that
me know.
was my next question.
There you
I'll
go.
put it in the song like, about to win the lotto, and then just give me the date when you want to win it.
4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10.
No, I can't. Like, I can't do that because then everyone else is gonna win it. So
Yeah.
I just gotta call your name and be like, yo, trust that you're gonna win the lotto.
I'll just bet
I'm
on
gonna
some
call you on that.
basketball games.
18.
You heard it here first, man. I'm gonna call you.
Yeah, so just let me know. Call me, and I got your futures. I'll just write it in.
There we go.
What
Alright.
program did you use for that one?
The program I started using and I'm still super comfortable and I can't like let go of. It's a FL Studio.
Oh, I was gonna say Ableton. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
proves me wrong.
Yeah. I just I started messing with that and like I don't know. I thought I was like, oh, I'll start learn with this and then I'll switch into like Pro Tools or something else.
Yeah.
But oh man, I just got so it just became like my right hand. Like it just I can't like that's like my thing. Like FL Studio, it's just what I feel most comfortable. Like I do like my mixes and all that in there and I like on one of my favorite things about FL Studio is actually the equalizer, the visual one. Because you can actually see like the frequencies when they're hitting, so you can actually get an idea of where it is, and it helps you visually like train your ear. So now I can know what frequency around. Like I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I know where it is because the way I trained it was by seeing it. So like,
The first time I heard about FL Studio and I saw it, I'm like, suspect. And then Timbaland started to talk about it. Like Timbaland uses FL Studio a lot.
Yeah.
I did
And
not
then
know that.
a couple of my buddies that work with Rihanna, I'm like, okay, this is official.
My favorite
Official.
producer uses FL Studio. Somebody I know personally, I work with a lot, and his drums are always just 9 times out of 10. His drums are on point. They're in your face. I just love. I don't know what it does to drums, but
yeah, no, I think because it gives you a lot of freedom. Like what I do now is I mean, for those that are familiar with FL Studio, the producers and stuff, I run a lot of things through a plugin they have called Edison. So you can actually like record, like if like say you're trying to like mix drums and stuff, like you can like record the sample there and then just keep overworking it.
Yeah.
And then it's cool because it gives you this feel like of what it was to make music back then. Because once you record that sample, it's there. Like you can't re-separate it. So it's
Right.
like there's a commitment. Like there's always gonna be the little bit you can start over. You have like benefits that back then people didn't have. But I
Yeah.
think it's like one of the closest ways we have to that experience. Because when you see a record and you commit to that, you can change the EQ and stuff, but like if you added something else, you can't separate that sound anymore. Like it's in there.
Yeah.
So it's gonna.
I like that recording process.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's honest.
the whole digital thing. It's like, oh, I got like endless tracks.
We'll fix it in
Back
post.
in the days, you had one reel.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, get your song done in this one reel, and you had to practice
Mhm.
over and over again. It's like, okay, let me go and record now, and then you had that. That's just that one take.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and that's another aspect that I mean, for me, I started making music electronically, and that was what I started developing in. But now the new music that I'm working in, and with the people that I'm working in, and they're mentoring me, and I'm taking in their ideas and their input and all that. And one of the main things is like they still like and believe in like where like part of when music was still like they still incorporated a lot of like organic elements, which they still have it now, but it's not the same. It's like now it's more electronic, and if there's something missing, it's like why are we gonna go spend the money and bringing in a guitar player that's really good when we could just do a plugin?
Sample,
So it's like it's gonna sound similar, but it's never gonna be the same.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that's something what like I don't know artists might want to take into consideration, because I never took into consideration until I started this recording process. That acoustic stuff and organic stuff that's live played.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. It's
Yeah.
like you can get similar sounds with digital, but it's not the same. Like you're not gonna get the room room sound, the room acoustics, even if they're very light. Little things. The essence of whoever's playing it and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean that's so true, and goes back to the Defiant Ones that we're watching on HBO right now.
Mhm.
What separated Dr. Dre's sound from everyone else? He was using live instruments.
Yeah.
You know, he was using bass, live guitars, and stuff like that over samples.
Yeah, and
which
yeah,
is
and
the coolest thing.
And even then, I think he was like probably like treating them. I mean, I imagine that he was treating them once they were done like samples.
Yeah.
But they were like his samples, original, longer samples and stuff like that. I think someone who does that. I'm pretty sure there's still musicians that do it.
I do
think
that.
I seen I think J. Cole does that too. I mean, I seen something when they were making one of the like albums. He like would bring in musicians and they just play riffs and stuff like that, and then he samples them.
Yeah.
So it's still treating them like samples, but at least he's like bringing in live musicians to do it, and they're his samples. They're more custom made and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
I feel like the new 2 Chainz song is like that. It's a vibe. It sounds so full and organic, and that guitar and the bass just like are in the pocket. So.
That's dope. Is that a single? That should be a single.
That's a single.
It's a cool vibe. I definitely want to develop it more. I like it.
It's
it
a
lot.
single.
Do you have a release date for that?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. So for all your songs, are you doing Spanish versions? Like for the 2 that you just played, are you?
No, I actually like to treat each version individually. I don't like too much to translate.
Yeah.
I just feel like things get lost in translation a lot of the times. So I rather just make something new with that same concept, different beat, different melodies, same concept.
Yeah.
And structure, build the structure in English if it wasn't Spanish originally, and vice versa. So So I like to just treat each song like individual. Like another thing that I don't really like to do is like remixes and stuff like that. I'd rather just make something new.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm still it's things that I'm still open to. Like if I'm really get swayed to it, like I might just translate one or do a remix to something. So I'm open to it. But as a creative, I like to just always create new.
Do you feel like the fans, your Latin fans, will want to hear stuff like this? I mean, would they or being lost in translation? I mean, do you feel like if your Latin fans heard this, would they be mad at you for putting out something totally different? Do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to cover both lanes. Like I have things like this, like in Spanish, that I'm working on that are for the album that they sit like along this lane. They sit around this lane. So it's like the English crowd will get this one and they'll be happy and enjoy it. But then the Spanish side will get something different that they're like, we're not complaining because we're happy too. We're enjoying this one. So, and me in the middle, I have to make sure that I'm creating for both sides. If I'm gonna be giving music to both sides, keep everyone happy. Instead of, because another thing too that could be dangerous is if I on in English I do a song that's really cool, or in Spanish I do a song that's really cool, and I try to translate it, and then the other version isn't as cool. So on the left side they're enjoying it because they connect with it, and on the right side they're like, it was okay, because the lyrics didn't like really connect, and part of it, like huge part of it, was like in the lyrics.
Right.
Like even if the melodies are still there.
You got a hard job, man, and because I mean you're creating for two markets, which you know artists don't do that. You know, like a lot of artists don't do that. They just go to a different country, they speak a different language, and like Snoop Dogg went over to Korea and they're singing gin and juice, and then he's like, oh shit, they're they're singing my song, they must speak English, and then after the concert no one spoke English. So but you got
It's hard enough for one market. Just to appease one market. You should do, I mean, it's up to you, but I think that song would sound really dope in Spanish too.
I think so.
It seems like the words, it wouldn't be, I mean, my Spanish is rough, but it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to, like, it wouldn't get lost. But
So, because Mia wanted to hear the Sprite song, we're going to play the Sprite song, then come back and we'll close out.
Okay.
All right,
cool. So here's song Sprite. This one's a little more finished, though, so I hope you guys
And
like this.
it was recorded in 2012.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, this was like never an official release. This was something that I recorded, like I said, in like 2012. And it was just, I made it in my room, and it was cool. Like, so I kind of like mix it and like it was just something that I had, and like it was never an official release. It was just something that it was the creative process, and I always just felt that need to create. So I created this, and then like this later ended up like kind of like leaking out, and then some stories kind of they started writing it as like this is the official release, when it was just something that like I created in like 2012 2013, and like along with like a bunch of other songs, and like but this was all a creative process. Like the stuff that I'm doing now, this is the official, this is with the intention of release, this is with the intention of giving like the best, the highest quality product to the fans, and going with like mixing engineers and working with composers and arrangers, and like we're with strategy and a full team. Like this is the real thing, and I've been preparing for this by making these songs. But this was just one song that I made, and it was cool. So here, hope you guys like it.
You satisfied?
Yes, thank you.
That was dope. That was dope for your first kind of record that you put together entirely. Felt like Prince in his bedroom for the first time, tinkering away. It's like a gem, a jewel.
Yeah, it was just like a creative concept that I had. Like I said, I just wanted to make like a really different approach at a love song, relating it to something, because it was like like I said, I felt like love can sometimes be like an addiction for people and stuff, because it's a feeling. It's like it's just something that it connects with your like brain, and like I don't know if it feels like sometimes it feels like a void or something. And this makes this connection, and it's like drugs are dangerous. Love can be like dangerous too. So it's like it was that concept, that approach, and I just went at it like in the concept. I never thought about like what is this gonna sound like how long is the song gonna be? Is it gonna be like marketable, or is it gonna be played on the radio? Is it like what kind of genre? It was just something that I started off with like the main melody, and then just like kind of added a bass to it, or I think I added the drums. I added the drums at the end, and just kind of started picking up a vibe. And then I had a main melody to go on top of it, and it just kind of, next thing you know, the song was developing, and then I just kind of pieced it together, moved some things around, added some more instruments, created like a thing, and then like it was just like a creative piece, and that was it.
That's dope. That's dope. The love thing, my mentor used to say, it's an emotional cocktail. You'll always get drunk. Don't drink and drive. But so we're going to close out now. Let's tell the fans and the listeners where they can find you on social media.
Okay. Yeah, well, my social media right now, I just have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm still seeing what I'm gonna branch out with like next. I think right now, what's next we're gonna add is with Musical.ly.
Okay.
we're working some with. So that's next, and yeah, just kind of see where we're going. Like, yeah. So and Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of those are the same right now. They're at Luis. That's LUIS X Aguilera. That's spelled AGUILERA, and that is the same for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Okay.
And what's up next with you? Is the album? Are you have any venues that you're going to be playing at? People come see you.
Well, right now we're in the recording process and mixing process and all that. We just got done with the writing and developing and all that pre-production process.
Yeah.
So now it's like the final stuff, final recordings, final mixings, and getting everything done, right? And then so we're looking at the next thing is the album release. Stack as many songs, well, not stack, but develop carefully. That's why it's taken us all this time since January till now, because I'm writing all of them and I'm working with someone that's helping me arrange the songs and everything, to build a 10 to 15 song album, to have a library that I can actually like play and perform at concerts when the fans come. And to watch me play. So the next thing would be the album.
Good.
What do you see yourself in a couple years? Not you, manager. But
no, I mean,
where do you see yourself in the next couple years?
Where do I see myself in the next couple of years? That's a hard question, because I mean, I do have a concept and a vision, but I think life is so unpredictable that can be dangerous too. Creating a solid concept and a solid vision. On one side, it gives you a goal. And I do believe that your thoughts become your life in the future. So I really believe in that. Yeah. But another thing is, like, you do have to always have this kind of like safe option, where if something doesn't go according to plan, like don't like panic and stuff like that. So I don't want to fully be like, well, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday I'm gonna be doing this, and this is how it's gonna be by this month and this year. So I mean, I'm in a few years I expect mainly to be still creating, be happy, but still be have drive of going, because sometimes if you're in a very comfortable place, you're very happy, you're very relaxed and stuff like that, that can, as a creative, it can kind of kill your creativity or start to affect it, because you're very comfortable. So there's nothing within you like pushing you. Sometimes like the struggle and that uncertainty, feeling of uncertainty, is what produces a lot of the creative ideas, because you just need an outlet to express what you're feeling, and you just feel like it's something inside that you have to get out. And so I mean, I would say even to all people, even if you don't make music, you don't paint, you don't do anything less like artistic wise, or you don't consider yourself like, oh, I'm an artist, but you just you enjoy art, but yeah, man, if you're just a regular human being, so that's all of us. I think an advice I would say, if you're going through some like a tough time, or you're going through some sort of emotional like this conflict, just write it out. Just write things. Just write how you feel. Don't think about making it rhyme. Don't think about making, this will be a hot song. Don't think about any of that, or this is gonna be a great book. Just write it. Just be like, I feel like this, or I don't know. Just it's weird. There's something about writing things out that it helps. It's not an automatic solution for it, but it's like it helps.
It's therapeutic.
I think. It's therapeutic. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, so we have this question on our show, Trip Digital Radio, that we ask all our guests.
Yes, we do.
And that question is, want to say it, Tiz?
All right.
I'll say it.
Okay.
What is your superpower?
My superpower, like what I would want it to be my superpower, or what is?
What is? It's like you look in the mirror, you know you're like the only person on this earth that can do this. Or you're probably amongst a few that can do this one thing. What is that? We call it a superpower. What is it for you?
I think my superpower, if that's what it can be called, is it's just the creativity and the vision for things, like that instinct to kind of know what to create. I think honestly, it's just I guess it caught me on the spot. I guess so, but I guess if I would
It's
have to
always
be
on the
like
spot.
something
There's no
that's,
wrong answer here.
that's
That's
unique
good.
or something, yeah, I would say my creativity. I like to think that, yeah, it's something that's special and that I like. I don't know. Everyone's creative, but I'm very proud of my creativity, and I'm very happy with where I don't know where it takes me and the things that come out of my brain, and I don't know. It's something that I really like about myself. So I think, yeah, I guess that would be my superpower. I mean, I would love that the answer was like, oh man, I can run 500 miles an hour, or like I can fly. If I confess something, I can fly. No, like so that would be a super cool superpower.
Yeah.
But I guess creativity.
Creativity.
The
On that
creative.
note, Trip Digital Radio Sound Art Expression, we're out. Follow this man. I got a text earlier, said he's the next thing.
Right.
Believe that.
Louis
Trip Digital Radio, Sound Art
Aguilera.
Expression. Peace.
Peace.
Good stuff.
1, 2. There we have it.
What's up, world? It's your man, DJ Journey. I want to say thanks for watching this video. But first, you got to like this video. And then after liking it, you got to subscribe because we want to keep this coming to you. We get more interesting. So keep it coming.
There we have it. Trip Digital Radio, Sound Art Expressions, Louise Aguilera. That was one of our best interviews ever. Because no one knew what the hell that they were doing when they came in, but it goes to show you how through conversation, things get better and better and more comfortable. And I miss that about, Trip Digital Radio. Not that we won't have it in the future, we won't figure this thing out, but, looking at these older shows just takes me back to those moments when, I arrived in the studio and there was somebody that was sitting on the other side that I didn't even fucking know. But by the end of the show, we were best of friends, and it was just amazing. It was just this amazing experience. And then we found this commonality that actually was relevant to both of our lives and that was important to our lives, that made each other important to each other, And I just really think that's how relationships work. That's how, that's the power of media. That's the power of the world, how two people came together, husband and wives and so on and so forth, and friends or whatever. I think of all of my relationships, man. I've met so many people through music. There was growing up, there was this group of friends that I came up with, and I wasn't even into music then. And then I kind of evolved into this music space, and then I just felt like the vibration of great music just brought all of these people into my life, and and I see the power of that working in other lives. So I look at these shows like, wow, this is what it was about. This is what it was about. Kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but yeah. So the collaboration of Spectrum City Network and Trip Digital Radio, like I said, is a dream come true for me, because these were two separate entities that came together, and with Spectrum City being an umbrella with my big brother, Keith Shock Lee, bringing this thing together, man, bridging the gaps. We definitely need to do a show about bridging the gaps. I'm not going to let up on that one. Man, because life is all about bridging these gaps, man. You got to bridge these gaps, man. Kids thinking hip-hop started with Nelly. I got a problem with that, man, because you're forgetting about the founding fathers of this thing. And I just feel like, a lot of things have been forgotten about, but bridging the gaps will also bring that stuff together. So, yes, stay tuned for that one. I may have to write it myself, but, got to do things. Got to do things to make things happen. What do I have for you next? Well, I'll put up a beat that I did. It's called Love Quest Creative, and it was something that I did for a podcast that Randy Butler and I did. I think we did like 2 episodes, and then it kind of dwindled from there through distractions and everything like that. But cool show, cool programming, because our first guest was her dad, Randy Butler, which is a South African guitarist that won like hella Grammys, like hella. How many hellas could I do? Grammys. And I set it all up, and it was my first like on location, not my first, but like it was somewhere up in there, but it was my first that I set up at a house. I set everything up. I had cameras and everything like that. I just bought the cameras, and I had a and I wish I would have known this because I got the Zoom over there, but I bought my laptop, my interface, all this like unnecessary shit to set up, and I was super nervous. But we got through the interview, and the interview was okay, but it could have been better in sound quality. But the fact that we captured this moment, it was amazing. It was truly, truly amazing. But I have no footage on that because we didn't even release it. Matter of fact, hold on. I think we did release it. It's on Spotify, though. It took so long to get verified on that Spotify account. But yeah, it's on Spotify, so look it up. It's called The Creative's Quest, and it's on Spotify under Randy Butler, and she did the interview. So pretty, really cool. But I did an intro track for this. I mean, because every superhero needs his theme music, and I thought that this podcast that we attempted to perform, and we did 2 episodes of it, it needed an intro. So I'm going to play it for you. This is without the voice because she did the intro. See, can I find the actual version of this? My God, I think I found. I'm gonna let this go. Okay, so I got really excited. I got really, really excited because I actually found the audio from this this interview. So let me see if I can play this. Epic, epic. So much work has been done. I'm telling you. Great work. Okay, why it loads into Serato. I'm gonna play this.
It just goes with South African music. All that stuff just works.
Just in case I got backup for the audio.
What is all this? Oh, you're just recording it?
Yeah. This is like the whole actual entire interview. The whole actual entire interview. I went to the static screen, but I'm gonna play this one out.
You know what?
And this is me in the background trying to figure shit out. It's crazy.
Well,
The user
like I
thinking.
said, I'm just pulling up ideas now from 20, yeah.
Right. Well, but that's the good thing about ideas. They can sit there for years until you're ready to develop.
But I was amazed what they sound like. Of course. You know, what they sound like right now. There's some really like cool ideas that if you change them, if we add some different colors and changes,
Develop them.
develop them so we can collaborate on them.
That's good. I'm down.
You're welcome.
These guys are dropping mad jewels about music. Oh my god.
Sorota.
Yeah.
Sorota.
I told you.
Epic times.
No, I know, but I just need to make sure.
Mm. All right. Let's keep it while we're hot. Let's keep going.
We have CDs and
Where's,
t-shirts
what's
in the
going on
back.
there with him? Is he going crazy?
Yeah.
Either put him in my truck or something.
He wants to be a part of the action.
Because I don't need him to be behaved.
Did you want to just have a refill ready, or
You can hear the dog in the background and everything.
okay? Because we're not gonna up and
Audio is crazy,
We're not
but
gonna, like, up and
you can hear the voices. And I think I captured this from an iPhone because my sound system was just really changed.
I sit where you sit. Where you
I've
sit.
been listening to him since I'm 16. If he can do it, I can do it too.
I
That's
sit
my
here,
own.
when I sit here at 10 o'clock, I have 4 shots like this. A full glass of water.
I'm I'm blushing right now because this is like my recital.
Fall asleep here.
Yep.
And then make my way to bed.
Yep.
Don't put him in the
Here.
Don't put him in the car, honey.
Oh my god.
No, he'll
So I'm
be
gonna
fine.
fast forward to like some of the meat of this interview. I just want you guys to hear this before we tap out of Trip Digital Radio.
Oh, that's a, when someone showed me. Oh, that's a C major chord. I was like, oh, that's what that is. I know that
I've been
thing.
playing that for a
forever.
while.
To me, that's how it
Absolutely.
should go.
Yes.
That's why if you choose by self-taught or
Hold on, I want the intro of this.
Walking
The
around.
pause
right?
is kind of something, right? What does it mean to be a musician, a creator? Dad, don't.
I've been listening to him since I'm.
Don't shout at him. Calm.
Dad, don't.
No, but that's what TV presenters do.
Yeah, of course.
Oprah does it. All of it.
Do you know who I am?
Honestly, this
Randy.
is probably no. I'm not gonna
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you know who I
Give
think
me
I
my
am?
respect.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Jesus
A lot of fun happening here.
Don't listen to him. He
The
doesn't
scarf's
thank me
making
or
my neck
anything.
so hot.
Dad, why are you wrapped
Okay, I'm
so
gonna
tight?
start.
Because it's nice. It's nice and body.
Yeah, no.
I'm
he's-
joking, Randy.
Yeah, come on.
please,
No,
Jesus.
I'm just gonna go with what feels right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Let it flow. It's your first one.
This is my first one.
And this is Randy's first podcast ever.
We're walking
The
around.
pause
with
is kind of something, right?
the dog needs to stop walking. You need to stop moving.
Do you pick that up a lot or no?
Abso-fucking-lutely, I pick it up. Abso-fucking-lutely, I pick up those nails that are crawling across the floor.
It's Courtney's shoes. Thump.
Right.
Come on, Courtney. Take your shoes off.
Okay, we ready?
Right.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Creatives Quest podcast, a space for you to stop off on your journey of creativity and inspiration. I'm so excited to be here. This is our first episode, and I could not have had better guests to welcome in this podcast. So, without wasting any more time, I would like to introduce Ruslan Sorota and Jonathan Butler. First of all, 2 of the most amazing musicians that I respect so highly. Ruslan, amazing pianist, have worked with some of the best people in the game, and my dad. Your name speaks for itself. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, We're very proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Good opening right there.
Thank you.
Still hear the dog in the
we're here
background.
today to discuss the creative process and what that means. And I chose you two because the topic of the day is, what does it mean to be a musician, a creative? How did you learn? What was the vessel that taught you? So there are self-taught artists, and there are artists that go to school and are educated, and this is why we're here today. I want to know, what's the difference? what's the influence, and how does this relate when you guys are on stage playing together?
Like 10 questions in one.
You go first.
Well, let's hear. Here's the first question. Tell me when you first found your instrument.
Yeah, so my dad's a musician, and there was always music around the house. So as long as I can remember myself, there was always playing. My dad plays guitar and accordion. He's a choir leader. So I didn't find the piano until a little later. I first started playing guitar, playing chords on guitar, because my dad played guitar a lot. And I was 4 years old, and he would like put this guitar on me. And I would sit there because I couldn't stand, I was really small and the guitar was really big.
Yeah.
So it started with guitar, and then eventually they had a piano in my kindergarten, and I started playing it a little, and I got into it. Eventually got my own piano, and just things just took off from there.
Okay, and that was when you knew that piano was meant for you.
Yeah. Somehow, even though I was playing guitar first, somehow when the piano came into the picture, like, that's it. I don't
It
even know
speaks
how.
to you.
Yep, totally.
JB.
That's very cool. Very cool, Rustin. So you started on guitar. I started on guitar. My father was a guitarist, banjo player. He was also a singer. Nat King Cole, the type of singer, the Drifters. So my dad was also one of the, my grandfather, one of the founders of the carnival music in South Africa. The original banjo was in America, part of they used to use banjo players during the slave days.
That's right.
To entertain the whites when they had high tea.
That's right.
So banjo went from here, from Africa to America, and my father and my grandfather were banjo players.
Wow.
And so my oldest brother was a banjo player. And I played 5-string banjo, 4-string banjo, and then I learned to play guitar, and then I went from guitar to singing, and then from singing down the road, I learned to play piano because most of my best favorite musicians were piano players.
Wow, well that explains a lot.
So all I wanted to do was be a piano player because they played their piano chops were so incredible that I wanted to be as a guitar player like a piano player, not a guitarist. So that's the story.
One of the reasons why Rustin was so surprised to even know that you played piano. So this is.
I totally surprised you, didn't I?
I had no idea. This is really funny. On a side note, I've been listening to your music since I'm 15 or 16 years old.
So, such an epic podcast and interview. Definitely go to Spotify, Creatives Quest, and check that out. Like I said, Jonathan Butler and Roslyn, piano player. Amazing. I know I started off and I said Jonathan Butler, but he was like the highlight. We were supposed to interview him, and he called over Roslyn, and it turned into this epic conversation that went on for like an hour and a half. But check it out on Spotify under Creatives Quest, Randy Butler. Another epic moment in radio history for Trip Digital. But I like you guys I like to thank you guys for sticking around for this, and also being a part of this history that we're going through right now, and that we're kind of teaching, because we got so much catalog, so many music mixes, so many stories that were told, and we're going to keep bringing you this every Monday, every week, same time, 10 p.m. to 12, Pacific Standard Time, and we'll keep moving from there. Trip Digital Radio, Sound Art Expression, DJ Journey, Raven Gabe, Keith Shock Lee, the whole squad. Thank you. We love you, and we also love you, the listeners, whoever's listening, because I don't know who's listening to this thing, but I know that they're getting history. All right, broadcasting live from some beautiful place in the world. Keep it going. Stay positive. Stay safe. Good health, wealth, wisdom, and knowledge of self to you and yours and your family.